Hello, hello, everyone. I hope that everyone's having a lovely day so far. We are so excited to be with you tonight for one of our LifeWave Connect calls. We'll be focusing on product today as part of our business and product series. So today we have a special treat for you. We have an individual who is here to teach us some great things about our very best product, X39. So we're very excited. One of our flagship products, one that has just changed the game in so many ways with health and wellness, and certainly for LifeWave overall. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Emily Hollingshead, and I'm the Director of Sales here at LifeWave. Now, again, I have the great pleasure and privilege of introducing you to someone who has been a big part of LifeWave for many years. And many of you will know her already just because of the great work that she does, not only for her own team here at LifeWave, but for the broader LifeWave family. And today she has again agreed to share some of her great knowledge and expertise when it comes to LifeWave technologies and how to share LifeWave technology, specifically X39. So let me tell you a little bit about her before I formally introduce or turn things over to her. So for those of you that haven't met her yet, Dr. Karen Kan is a medical doctor, a doctor of light medicine, and a #1 best-selling author. Also the founder of the Tulpacan, I can't say it right. You'll have to correct me, Dr. Karen, a healing method. She has been with a LifeWave fan since 2005 when she very first used the patches. And she found that some symptoms of chronic fatigue that she personally had been experiencing were dramatically improved. Dr. Karen has gone on to win multiple adult ice skating competition medals. Very exciting. She has been a distributor with this company for about 15 years. And for many of you, you will know she really is somewhat of a LifeWave celebrity because of her free patching videos on her YouTube channel. She is a former LifeWave practitioner trainer, and she has a free patch training team support Facebook group. And that is something that has so many great resources, tools, support, and information. She popularized the brain balancing protocol, which helps to reset the brain and the nervous system very quickly. And she went on to share her wisdom on Biography TV. She's also appeared on Discoveries in Alternative Medicine, PBC segments, alongside our founder, CEO, and inventor of LifeWave Technologies, David Schmidt, as well as many other great professionals. Her #1 best-selling book, Guide to Healing Chronic Pain, A Holistic Approach, has an entire chapter dedicated specifically to LifeWave patches. She truly loves to teach and teach her team and all those within the LifeWave family, but specifically how to market the patches with care and consciousness. Not all the sales hype, not all the woo-woo, wah-wah, all the fun that sometimes goes along with sales. Really a different approach. And now today she will share not only some knowledge about X39, but she'll share her wisdom and experience with sharing these products in a way that's compelling and something that each of us can do each and every day. So without further ado, Dr. Karen, welcome to the call. Are you there, Dr.
Hey,
Karen?
thank you so much.
Awesome. I need to fix something on your video. There we go.
There we go.
Well, I'm going to turn things over to you, my dear. I know everyone's excited to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Emily. And I promise our translators I will do my best to speak slowly, which is not my forte. People always say, Dr. Karen, you speak so fast. Anyway, so what we're going to do today, folks, super excited to be here. And we're going to do a little bit of training on X39. And the big thing I want to share today about X39 is what I call the principles of patching. So I'm going to give you some key tips about X39. Now, because this is like half an hour, I'm not going to be doing, a 4-module training on patching, although many of you have already seen my YouTube channel. I just put that in the chat, and have seen my playlist. That is a LifeWave playlist. I also started a recent playlist called the LifeWave Micro Training, and that's where I just give like a couple of a couple of key areas for certain symptoms that you can use the patches, and people are loving that. So I thought, well, I'm just going to continue giving you like a mini patching tutorial, if you will, every week. So principles of patching, that's what we're going to start with first, and then we'll talk a little bit about how I share with my team the non-salesy marketing, because I'm a medical doctor, retired now, but I never really thought that I would ever do sales of any type besides my medical doctor service. But what I found was LifeWave was so amazing and so incredible at changing people's lives. I changed my mind and I decided to start sharing that many years with other people. But the marketing that I was learning, it was too salesy for me. The wording wasn't right for me. I didn't like it. So I pretty much struggled for the first 7 years because I didn't really know what I was doing. And then one of the trainers that LifeWave actually had hired at the time, Kim Klaver, shared some techniques with me, and that totally resonated with me. So it's a non-salesy way to share the product, and I want to share my how I morphed that into a LifeWave specific testimonial story that you can use as well. So we're actually going to go into some technique of how you do that. But first and foremost, let's talk about the X39. Okay, so you should be seeing my slides now. Principles of patching. Well, I like to say start simple. So we have so many different amazing products. And as Emily said, our X39 is our flagship product. And that's the one I normally recommend that everyone start with. Now, there are some exceptions to the rule, but generally why? Okay, why do I want people to start with X39? Well, it's because it encompasses so many different areas. It can help us in so many different areas. All the different systems can be supported with stem cell, better stem cells, healthier, younger stem cells. And so I will often start with X39 first, and then if needed, see if there's any symptoms that are not addressed with just the X39. And then we kind of add on patches slowly. I tend to be pretty conservative. So one time I had a distributor from Indonesia, and he got a diamond package. He was so excited to get his patches. This is before the X39. So we chat a few days afterwards, and he goes, "Dr. Karen, I'm exhausted." And I'm like, "You're exhausted?" I said, "Well, did you follow what we talked about? You do this patch first for a few days, then this one, this one." He's like, "Oh, I forgot. I put them all on." So he had every patch known to me, on. And I was like, "Okay, I think it's too much too soon. So back up. Let's start with just one patch. And then we'll add on, a couple of days, add on. And then he did so much better. And he's like, "Oh, wow, I feel so much better." So starting simple is really important. So I start with the X39 for at least a few days first. Why? Because there's a lot of symptoms that you think you might need other patches for, but the X39 actually addresses it. So you actually don't need that other patch. And then if they have breakthrough symptoms or symptoms not addressed by that patch, then you can add on patches, and then of course combining patches. So combining patches is too big a topic. That's like a training in and of itself. So we're not going to address that, but that's the step that we go through. We go through simple first. Now the chart that you see here is, I call it the LifeWave user and clinician experience chart. So this is a chart that myself, Dr. Dennis, and Dr. Quila helped me make, and then David actually as well. Before I could share it publicly, I wanted to make sure I got his blessing to do that, and he said yes. So the green check marks are basically what we have scientific proof or at least backing for these claims. The yellow check marks means that we don't have the science or corporate science behind it, but what we do have is user experiences, anecdotal stories, testimonials, and what us clinicians have observed in our practices over the years. And as you can see, the X39, now, of course, there could be many, many more columns, but I could only fit this many in an 8.5 by 11 page. So as you can see, the X39 encompasses so many different areas: vitality, supporting immune system balance, stress relief, pain relief, as many of you know, anti-aging, of course, wound and skin healing, tissue healing, balancing healthy hormones, mental clarity, detoxification, things like that. And you can see where the other patches fall in. Now, in case you want a copy of this, we have it listed as a freebie on the Facebook group, which is a Facebook support group for anyone from any team to come join. There are some rules, so make sure if you are joining to answer all the questions. Otherwise, my assistant cannot let you in, which includes that you agree to the group rules. And I'm sorry, there are a lot of rules, but we just have to keep in mind that we want everyone to be safe and say the right thing and not, put treatment, disease names, and all that kind of stuff in the group. So we're pretty strict on that. So that is a free file that you can see right in the group that you can download, and you can feel free to distribute. Okay, so you might go, okay, great, I start with X39, but do I just use the brochure points, or do I patch them anywhere else? Well, the answer is, well, it depends. Now, most people will use what's in the brochure points and get great relief from whatever symptom they are feeling. And it's for a really great area for general wellness. Below the belly button is a very strong acupuncture point. And then on the back of the neck, again, another strong acupuncture point. But what if you have multiple areas of concern? My advice, according to testimonials and our experience, is that you can patch according to the brochure. So just pick a point in the brochure, play with that, see how that feels first. The other possibility is you could say you had left knee pain and eye concern and say a shoulder pain. You could potentially, instead of using just the points that are in the brochure, one day you could patch your knee, one day you could patch your shoulder, one day you could patch your eye, and it doesn't really matter necessarily whether you use them during the day or during the night. Of course, during the day, you can hydrate well, which is really good for all the patches. If you hydrate during the day, you should still be good for nighttime. I would just make sure that there's 12 hours between, when you take it off and when you put it back on. So the body needs a little bit of a rest time between the X39 applications for it to work the best, at least according to, people's experience. So if you use it at night, then if you take it off during the day, you want it to have at least 12 hours before you put it on again at night. Now, what if you have one major area? So for example, if someone, say, cut their leg or tripped and fell and cut their leg and there's a wound, I would definitely put the X39 near the wound. Now, we wouldn't put it on top of the wound unless it had a bandage on it, of course. And if you put it on top of the bandage, that's completely fine. It still works. Remember, this is light therapy. So you don't have to worry about, clothing or, what if I take the backings off or not taking the backings off? It works if it's close to your body. That's the basics. In fact, Dr. Steve Haltiwanger, who recently passed away, is our medical director, and he's a really funny guy. And we loved training with him. And he told us, this is us as in the LifeWave clinician trainers, that they actually tested to see through a 6-inch block of wood whether or not they could still sense with their instrumentation a shift in the body when patching through this block of wood. And guess what? The answer was yes. It's light therapy, so it actually can pass through a block of wood. So if you're worried about having socks on or a t-shirt, some people are really sensitive to adhesives or sensitive to stuff on their bodies. Like some kids are really, really sensitive to stickers. Well, we just put it on top of their clothing or on top of their socks, and they don't even notice it then. So you can put it on top or near the area of pain, like a wound, or like if you have an eye, has had surgery, for example, you might want to put it near the eye. Maybe not when you go to the grocery store, although if you're selling it, maybe it's a good thing to wear it, at the grocery store. I had an 80-year-old patient one time who, she is a little hard of hearing. So she goes to the store with patch right in the middle of her head, in this case, an Eon patch. There's the brain balancing protocol that Emily was mentioning earlier. And so she put it in the middle of her patch, and she'd go to the store, and the people in the store, because I live in a small town, they would look at her and go, I know who your doctor is. They knew they were LifeWave patches. You don't want to cup the patches. People get like, oh my gosh, what if I am sensitive and I don't feel like I can use them for the whole 12 hours. Maybe I'm detoxing and feeling tired. And then it's okay, well, use them for less amount of time, but don't cut them. You don't cut them. Remember, they're active if they're on your body or close to your body. They turn off when they're away from your body. So if you want to use the same one multiple times because you're super sensitive, you want to use them, say, 3 hours a day versus 12 hours, which is how long they last, just use, medical tape and tape them to your skin or your sock or your t-shirt. And then, when it's away from your body, then it turns off. And then when it's back on your body, then it turns on again. And then you can count literally, how many hours you've had it on. So these are some of the things that people ask a lot when we do our trainings. So when it comes to pain relief, this is anecdotal. So this is my own experience, not necessarily true of anyone else's, but my own experience with people is that X39, about 80% of people have significant meaning 50% or less in their pain. So if they're 8 out of 10 out of pain, they get to 4 or less. Okay, that's what I call significant, just by using the X39 alone. Sometimes near the pain, sometimes not even near the pain. Some people just hold it in their hand and they get dramatic pain relief. But there's 20% that they don't get pain relief right away. And sometimes it can be frustrating because they think, well, how come Bob, my friend, got pain relief and I didn't? And here's the thing, is that I do intuitive muscle testing, and it's part of my, light medicine practice. And I can actually tune into someone's body and check to see what's going on here. So I thought, well, you know what? This person isn't getting seemingly a response from pain. So let's ask the body, what's it doing? Is it making stem cells? Like, what's going on? And in my intuitive testing of many, many, many people, I've noticed that there are 3 systems in the body that the stem cells like to heal first. And guess what? It's not necessarily your knee. Musculoskeletal issues are like back burner stuff. If you have other systems that have more urgent needs, it seems like that's where the stem cells want to go first. Now, this is all my own personal experience. It's not something that corporate or David has said. The 3 systems that I've noticed want healing first. Number 1, and not in any particular order, but number 1, immune system. Number 2, nervous system. Number 3, digestive system, which is very interesting. But the digestive system, if you think about it, 80% of the immune system cells actually are in the digestive system. Yeah, 80%. That's a lot. So your gut health has a lot to do with the health of your entire body. So that makes sense to me why your stem cells want to heal your gut and your immune system and your nervous system. So maybe you don't get pain relief, but this is usually an easy fix. Still use X39, but then you would just add on either LifeWave, use the brochure, what we call the clock technique, or David's quick and easy pain relief technique is using X39 and just adding a single eon over the pain area. And that works for me. To be honest, X39 alone does not work for pain relief for me. I'm just in that 20%. But if I use X39 and eon or an X39 LifeWave, then I get really great pain relief. And when we have time, we can answer some questions too. Okay, so now we're going to kind of segue into like, how do you message or how do you share the LifeWave products or opportunity with other people? So for my team, distributors, we talk about the E's, the 6 different steps, if you will, of the LifeWave business, at least from my perception, the way I train it. So obviously one has to enroll as a distributor. Then the next step is really experiencing the product and really getting your own story, and then exploring, whether it be exploring the patches or the educational resources or your back office. And that includes, getting help from your sponsor. And then engaging. And this includes not only engaging with your team and your sponsor, but of course, engaging people with, guess what, your testimonial and your story. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. And then the last 2 steps is education. So educating yourself and others and knowing where those resources are, and then empowering your team to do the same thing. So that's the broad overview of how I see LifeWave training as a distributor. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about experience and the engage steps. So experience the patches. Well, I highly recommend that the first step you do is download the health tracker. That is actually in the LifeWave Success Library, which is public online, as well as your back office. So you want to download the health tracker and track your progress. So download the tracker, document your progress. There's a lot of things that I missed because I didn't document it. I didn't take pictures. I didn't even think about it. Like, for example, scar tissue. I have had several surgeries when I was younger, and I've had, lumpy, thick scars, never even thinking like what would happen with the X39. And guess what? Those scars flattened out and are now flexible and barely perceptible. And I wish I would have taken pictures, but I did not. I had another gal who's a cosmetologist, didn't know her well, but she messaged me on Facebook. We're Facebook friends. And she goes, "Did you have an eye lift?" I said, "A what?" And she said, surgery. Like, did you have an eye lift? And I'm like, "No. Why do you say that?" She goes, "Well, it clearly looks like you had something done." And this was 3 months into X39 where I wasn't feeling anything. And she says, "No, I'm a cosmetologist. I notice these things." I said, "Well, the only thing I'm really doing differently is that I'm using the stem cell enhancing phototherapy patch." She goes, "Oh, interesting." So I think it's really good to document what's going on with you. And I actually didn't believe her, but in the same week, 2 other people told me the same thing. One was my patient. My patient said, "I can't remember which eye was droopy now. I have to look at old pictures of myself." And then one of my team members, Anna, said the same thing. She says, "You know what? I used to like always have the same side on a picture because I didn't want people to see my droopy eye." And she says, "Now the droopy eye is gone." So document your progress. And of course, number 3, the third D, is decide on which testimonial story you're going to use. And I'm going to show you how we craft that story in a way that's engaging and something that gets people's attention without being salesy, without being hypey or markety or, anything that people are kind of like against. Now, here in North America, where I live, this is a bigger problem than in Asia. I think Asians are much more open to network marketing and the opportunity. They are more into, alternative medicine to some extent. So this is not as big a problem, but in the US and Canada, or even in the UK, definitely people are a little bit pensive and anxious about network marketing. So by engaging in your story in the right way, you can get people to lean forward and listen more, as opposed to them going, network marketing, I don't want anything to do with it. Don't tell me. So here are some tips. So the story that you share, you want it to be short, ideally under 45 seconds. You don't want to verbally vomit over people, which I used to do. Thankfully, I was very enthusiastic. So people, bought the product because of my enthusiasm, not because of what I said, because I gave them way too much information. And it's called technobabble, which I was telling them about the product, how it worked. And I'm a science person, right? I'm a medical doctor. So I was like, went way over the head, told them too much. And they were like, sounds good. I guess I'll try it. I mean, you're so enthusiastic. So short, keep it short. You should time it, in fact. So short share. Second thing, set the scene. So in your story, you want to talk in a way that gives people a visual cue, something that they can see in their mind. Because if you go, "Oh, I had pain and it was really bad, and my pain went away," it's like, okay, well, that's exciting, not right? But if you go, "You know what? I thought I was going to have to be in a wheelchair. I was looking at that wheelchair that my friend has and thought to myself, I think I'm going to get there. And I was so scared of that because I was basically creeping up the stairs. I was in so much pain. But then after trying this product, I could bound up the stairs. So now I'm bouncing up the stairs and I have not even a thought of that wheelchair." So you see how that's different from that first story where you're just saying I'm a lot of pain and now I'm not, right? Kind of boring. But if you think about the wheelchair, you see the wheelchair in your mind, right? And the going up the stairs, like creeping, okay, you see that. And I'm bounding up the stairs, and then you see that. So there's a visual. So you want to share the story with these visual cues. And of course, you want to share with energy and emotion. In fact, just before this, I had a coaching call with my mentor at the Wellness Leadership Academy. And he says, look, people buy on energy, emotion, and logic. And the logic is the tiniest bit. So if you think, "Oh, I'm going to give them the science and they're going to buy us because of the science," well, guess what? You're going to be disappointed a lot of the time. because people don't buy on, they think they do buy on logic, but they don't. They buy on emotion and they buy on energy. So your energy and the way you present your story is very important. So as you can see, I'm kind of, big energy, kind of bubbly. That's my personality. So I had so much excitement and exuberance that even though I totally messed up my scripts and gave them verbal diarrhea, people still bought from me because I was so energetic, right? So who you are and how your energy comes across is super important, how you share. Because if you come across critical, oh, you shouldn't take those antibiotics, they're really bad for you, blah, 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 and you're doing this wrong and you're doing that wrong. You shouldn't eat GMO foods. This is how I used to be with my family, right? So they didn't listen to me. It's not going to work. But if you look happy, if you look healthy, if you have more energy, if you have more sparkle in your eyes, people can't help but wonder, wonder what she's doing, or wonder what he's doing, right? So you want to share with enthusiasm, with energy and emotion. Be true to you. So if you're an introvert, you don't have to be as jolly as I am, but you need to have some life force, okay? Some life force if you want to do the business well. And most of you do. Most of you do, because you get so excited with your results, right? With LifeWave. And then the last S is send. So you're actually asking people rather to actually send you a referral rather than ask for the sale directly, which puts a lot less pressure on you and a lot less likely for you to feel bad about yourself because of rejection. So I'm going to share with you how we craft these testimonials in 45 seconds. And it's based on the first date scripts of Kim Claver, who used to be a LifeWave trainer, helping us get customers. So there's an introduction where you talk about a problem rather, that you have or are experiencing or have experienced. And then you give them a picture of the before. And then optional is you can tell them what you tried before to help it that didn't work for you. And then you give them the after, and you want the before and after to match. So if your before was, I couldn't bend over and pick up my child, the after, you should say, well, now I can throw my child in the air, or, whatever's true, right? Like you don't want to say, before I couldn't pick up my child in the air because my back hurt, but now I can sleep through the night. And so there's a disconnect, right? Because the two symptoms don't match. So you want them to match. And then, and what I love to do, and Kim taught me this, and I think it was really, really helpful, is that you want to be upfront that you're doing the business. You don't want to tell your whole story, get people excited, and when they go, well, where do I get it? And you go, oh, you can get it from me. I sell it. Because there's some sort of, like it kind of mars the whole story. Like they go, oh, did you tell me that whole story just so you could sell something? So there's a way in which you can share that you're doing the business without being pushy and without pushing their buttons and getting them negative about what you're saying and negating everything, the story you had before, because of that, oh, she's just trying to sell me. And then the last thing is you ask for a referral, not for the direct sale. So I'm going to give you actual examples of this. And guess what? I timed these. So less than 45 seconds. So I'll read it out as if I would have memorized it. I'll read it out and you can feel what that feels like to you. You want to actually script it so that you're talking to the person. And that's the toughest part. I find that when I work with my team individually with their scripts, is a lot of times they write it out and it looks great on paper. But remember, it's not a blog. You're going to talk to someone. So you have to say it out loud over and over and over again. If you stumble on the words, change the words. If the words are not natural in your everyday speech, change the phrase. So here we go. So someone, you talk about what's going on, and it's really great when you ask about the other person first, right? So ask about what they're what's going on with them, and then you just be quiet. And eventually, usually, they'll say, well, I talked a lot about me. What about you? What's going on with you? Okay, so I'll give you this example. Well, something super interesting, actually. Some women have zits and bad skin even though they're not a teenager anymore. Well, that was me. Before using this new product, my face felt like craters on the moon with lots of bumpy zits, my arms and legs too. My ex-husband actually called me the sandpaper girl. I tried all sorts of creams and supplements, but nothing seemed to work. Then I got introduced to a new product that helped me detoxify my body. And then within 3 weeks, I noticed my skin smoother and suppler. And within 3 months, all the zits and bumps were gone. And now I have the best skin ever, smoother than a baby's bottom, I like to say. I love this product so much, I became a distributor so I can share it with others. And that's what I'm doing part-time. Do you know anyone who might like to know about a product like that? Okay. So I did this time, this morning, I interrupted myself to share different parts, but I did the whole thing. And then we're going to go back and dissect it a little bit. So notice the visuals. So craters on the moon, right? That's a visual. You see craters on the moon because I said craters on the moon. Sandpaper girl. Okay, maybe that wasn't the nicest thing that my ex-husband said. Maybe that's why we're divorced. Haha. But it was true. It was true. It did feel like sandpaper. And then smoother than a baby's bottom. Okay, again, visual, right? It's a little funny because I tend to be funny, right? And so it's a visual, kinesthetic kind of story. And then in the business side, you see how I was right up front. I love this product so much, I became a distributor so I can share with others. And that's what I'm doing part-time. The person may be expecting you to go, oh, great, she's going to sell me, but you're not. You're not. You're actually going to go, oh, do you know anyone? Or you can even say, do you happen to know anyone who might like to know about a product like this? So in their mind, they're going through, okay, sandpaper, skin, craters, moon, zits. Yes, right? So the answers are yes, no, or maybe. Yes, that's me. That's the ultimate, right? Okay. Now, obviously, if you're talking to someone who's got beautiful skin, probably not the story you want to share, but they still might know someone. So their answer might be, yes, it's me, tell me more, right? And then there's other scripts for that. Number two, they might go, no, I don't know anyone. And then your opportunity here is to go, well, if you happen to meet someone with this issue, I would love a referral. Would you be willing to, maybe connect us? And most of the time, if they're a friend of yours, they'll go, sure, I'll let them know about you, right? So that's the no. Third is a maybe, right? They might go, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I have an Aunt Julie, and she's always complaining about her skin. Do you think it would work for her, right? Kim has a great script for that, and it's not part of this training, but I'll just share it with you. The script is, well, I don't know if it's going to work for Janie, but what if it does? What if it works for her the way it does for me? Do you think she'd like to try it then? Okay, so that's in the big orange book, Kim's orange book, that whole script. So let's do another one. Okay, this is an X39. These are both real life examples from my life. Okay, I didn't make these up. These are real. So what's new with you, Karen? Oh my God, did you hear the time about when I hit my head hard on the ice 2 days before my competition? Most people go, no, what happened, right? Well, I have a history of concussions. So last October, 2 days before my international skating competition, I was training ice dance with my husband. I skated one way, he went the other, and I fell. And my head sounded like a bowling ball hitting the ice. Everyone rushed to me thinking like if I was dead. So lucky for me, I had a wearable stem cell enhancing patch on the back of my neck. And the next day, although my neck muscles were tad stiff, there was no bump on my head, no headache, no nausea, no concussion symptoms. In fact, I skated so well, I won 3 medals that week. This patch really helped me recover quickly. Phew. And then I put in brackets, because in this case, I may or may not do the, if I'm marketing. But if I'm marketing, I say, well, do you happen to know any athletes who might like to know about a product like this? Right? So Kim Claver has actually done some testing, and she's been very successful in multiple network marketing companies. She's retired now. But she says, don't change the last line. Because if you change it to, who do you know who might like to know about a product like this? You put pressure on the other person, and they're going to shut up, clam up, or tell you anything to get rid of you. So I know it's a yes/no question. I know you may be taught, ask open-ended questions. But in this case, her data has shown that you precisely ask this question: do you know anyone who might like to know about a product like that? Do not change it, because they get their best results. And you get yes, no, maybe, and you know how to handle those things. So the benefit of sharing the X39 story this way is that it's not salesy, there's low pressure, there's less rejection, because you're not asking for the sale directly. There's more relaxation, and really what you're doing is finding the right match. So if you talk to someone, say using my skincare script, if I talk to someone who has terrible skin and they go, nope, I don't know anyone, I'm thinking in my brain, did you look in the mirror today? Okay, but obviously they're not interested. So I'm like, okay, well, thanks anyway. If you know anyone, just let me know, right? Walk away, on to the next person. I don't feel rejected. They don't feel pressured, and it's a win-win for all. And the way we teach this is, what that Kim Claver teaches, it's memorable because there's pictures in your mind, and that really, really helps. And like I said, it's short, so you don't verbally vomit on the other person. You do your 45-second script and you move on. You do something else. You talk about something. You talk about the baseball game. You can't talk about the weather. If they're really interested, they go, whoa, 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 wait a second, right? You're talking about the weather. They go, wait a second. Well, what is it? And then you do the second and third part of the script. Okay, and that's not something that we have time for today, but I would highly recommend check out Kim Claver's book, and you can make up your own LifeWave scripts. So I'll let Emily come back on and see if we have a couple of minutes for questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Karen. That was so awesome. I really love the way that you share the information about X39 and the real life examples of what a story should look like and really breaking it down for everyone. It's so helpful. I love when there's really tangible examples like that. So thank you so much for sharing. Really appreciate it. I haven't seen too many questions come across here. So I don't know if we have any questions that haven't been answered yet, but there is one right here. It's not about X39, but you probably can answer this one. What is the title of the book and the author that you were mentioning just now?
Okay, yes. Let me go back and to that slide so people can take a picture of it with their cell phone if they like. It's called If My Product's So Great, How Come I Can't Sell It? And we call it Kim's Big Orange Book. It's not actually big, it's really small, but it has all the 3 scripts. We just went through the first one today, which is your introduction, or what she calls your first date script. She's a funny gal too, the first date script. So we just went through my version of the first date script. And then the other questions she answers is, what is it? And let's just say the answer is, oh, it's a high-tech nanotechnology, blah, 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 blah. No, that's technobabble. We say it's a patch. It's a patch you put on your skin and helps you build stem cells, which are there to, help you repair your body. So there's like the multiple scripts, and then how do I get it? How much is it? Like there's scripts for all of those things. So it's a really great reference book if you like the style that we talked about today. And maybe it's not your style, and that's fine. But if it is your style and you're like, oh, I like that because it's not so salesy and I feel more comfortable, then check out the book.
What a great recommendation. I think you bring up a good point with this. Everyone has a different approach, right? Everyone has different styles. And I've always heard and believe as well that as long as you're being true to yourself and you have a good plan and a strategy, that's going to be a really winning technique for you. So I'm really glad you shared that. Thank you very much. We do have a couple other questions. Let's just do 2 more real quick because I know we are over time. So a question here from Peter Dove. Can children wear a patch?
So generally corporate, and David has shared that if the child is speaking age and they can give you feedback, we're pretty comfortable using the patches. I know there's tons of parents out there who have been using the patches for many, many years with great success. We just can't say from the corporate standpoint that we've done studies on children because we have not. But let's just put it this way. If it were my child, yes, I would be using patches on my child without any reservation at all.
I think that's a good way to go about it. I've heard David also say, as long as they can speak, then that's pretty safe because they can let you know if they maybe have a headache because they need more water or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, one more question here. We do have some other really great ones, so I'm sorry we can't get to everything, everyone. I don't know if you know the answer to this one, Dr. Karen. This one is one I've not heard before. So this is from Emily Kane, and she said, also would like to know if the specific crystals are actually what we want to upregulate in the body. Do the X39 patches contain GHK-Cu crystals? Is that how refraction works? Do you know the answer to that one? That's a tough one.
Yeah. No. So this is a proprietary technology that David is a closely guarded secret of how he does it. It does not have GHK crystals in it, but the crystals that are in it resonate a frequency like a message. Okay, like software. our tagline used to be software for the human body, which I loved, and no one else got it, right? So they got rid of that one. Now it's live long, live well, live whatever. But anyway, so no, it's a frequency, it's a set of frequencies, and it tells your body to make GHK copper peptide. And then that goes to get your stem cells up. So no, there's no GHK crystals in the patch.
Awesome. Well, again, I'm so sorry, everyone, that we couldn't get to all the questions, but Dr. Karen, honestly, thank you so very much. Really, really appreciate you. And it's just been such a pleasure to listen and hear from you and just learn from all your experience and all the great things that you've been able to do with LifeWave technology. Thank you so much for sharing with us tonight.
Yeah, my pleasure. And earlier, just so people know, I did share the free YouTube channel that I have. I'm doing like these mini patching micro trainings every week pretty much. So you can check that. That's free on my playlist. Also, if you're on Facebook, there is a support group where you can ask for additional support. Just keep in mind, I'm super busy, so I can't answer everyone's questions, but a lot of people are helping out, and this does not, you don't have to necessarily be on my team, but you do need to answer all the questions, in order to be let into that group for further support and help. And then just one thing I wanted to share, Emily, before we go, is that the first Monday of every month, Dr. Dennis Lobstein and I actually do a LifeWave show on my radio show. And Dr. Dennis is brilliant, Asian medicine specialist. And so he does advanced, underline advanced, training with the patches. Next, and we do a different topic every month, and I actually write notes as he's talking and teaching, because the stuff he knows I don't know. So I actually write notes and I post it on the Patch Training Team blog. This coming first Monday of the month, which is November 2nd, or no, 1st, I think. 1st, 2nd, anyway, I think it's the 2nd, November. David is going to join us, as well as some of the other LifeWave clinicians that used to be trainers with LifeWave, Dr. Quila Ryder, Kathy Arnaud, Christine Fisher, and we're going to reminisce about our time with Dr. Steve Haltiwanger, the former medical director, who recently passed away, and David is able to make it on that call. So would love for you guys to listen to that. We're going to overview all the patches briefly, and then we're going to share stories about Dr. Steve. Some of you have not had the pleasure of meeting him. Luckily, I have. David was really excited that we were doing this, and it was Dr. Dennis's idea. So you can join us. Right now, the radio show link is not live. So the best way to figure out when this or where this is if you join the Facebook group. We actually put up an event a few days before that Monday, and then you can click right into that link, either call in by phone, or if you're not from North America, you can click the link and join us on the chat, and it's recorded, so you can always listen to it later.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I'm so impressed that you and the team really provide such great support for all of our LifeWave family. I know that you're a great servant leader within your own team, and it just spills out across the larger LifeWave family. So thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. And thank you to all of you that were part of our webinar tonight. I know that we all learned a lot from Dr. Karen, and we encourage you to tune into our next LifeWave Connect call that will be on November 4th. It will be focused strictly on business for that call. And then 2 weeks following that, we'll have another product call. But again, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for plugging in. Thank you for showing up. Being a part of these, being a part of our community, learning and growing is a big part of being successful in this business. So thank you for taking the time out of your day, out of your life, to continue to develop yourselves and to learn. So have a wonderful evening, and thank you again, Dr. Karen.
Thank you, Emily.
Bye now.
Everyone.